Uh-oh, you broke it.
I did.
Just lay it down, Mary. All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? 4 o'clock live. All right, I did start it. Yes, we're live. Give everybody a second here. So we need a sound check when anyone pops on. There's not one single person on. Glenda, how are you? If we can get a sound check, actually I have a lot to share. Summer, sound is good, thank you. Glenda, all right. Very good to see everybody. We got 2 people hopping on. All right, we'll give everybody. Gary, how are you? So, we have a lot to talk about because as you can see, we're filming from the same area, but there's a seat here now. It doesn't look like the seat that used to be here. And there's a good reason. Glenda, this will be available on Facebook for 30 days, I believe, and then it goes to our YouTube page, so it never comes down. So, all right. Who's our babysitter tonight? Today. All right, we'll give everyone a couple of seconds here. Yeah, this is a crazy day.
I know, yeah.
So what you guys can't see, also, everyone always comments about these spots. Those are scheduled for surgery. We tried everything to avoid the surgery. It's not happening. So it's time for a sharp knife and a really good surgeon who can, Kayla, good to see you. So we're gonna get these officially done and you'll know it because I'll be wrapped up like a gunshot wound. And I've had them done elsewhere and time for more surgery, Mohs surgery. Not melanoma, it's their basal cells, so it's all good. Okay, also what you can't see, anyone watching this, if you have the COVID era metal leisure concept steps to your swim spa,
Turn around.
I will. If you and actually I'll do it right now. So I'm turning the camera around. These ones. See those steps? If any of you have those steps, I have to reposition the camera here. It's precariously perched. This is the first time from a 2025. So we need to figure out all our spots that we like. If any of you have those leisure concept metal steps, we used those during COVID because the plastic wasn't available, and especially after the Texas freezing thing with the epoxies and resins, plastic became a problem, and that really had nothing to do with COVID. I think a lot of people associate it with COVID, but it wasn't. It was that freeze in Texas, which is where like all kinds of epoxies and plastic and petroleum obviously come from, but it all froze. So these leisure concept steps are metal, and they were widely in use during COVID. They're not in use anymore because they are so flipping horrible to put together. I started and everything could be reversed. The directions are terrible. It was laughable. And then the Connecticut tech, his name is Ron Sullivan, fantastic guy, good friend. He was like, I texted him, I just have a quick question for you on these steps. And he's like, I'm actually driving by. So he swung in and then we did it together and it only took like 3 hours. So with both of us. That's how, it's like IKEA meets Erector set and then there's no instructions. That's what it's like. It was absolutely amazing. So if any of you have those steps, call your service provider, your dealer, or send them a note and a thank you note. They are so bad. What they had to do to get those together was absolutely insane. I had heard they were bad, but it was far worse than even I imagined. So anyway, but they are awesome when they're done. So that's what we have now because of the new swim spa is facing the other way, and where our cold tub is, we wanted new steps. And the other ones were so ratty anyway. The other ones are like 15 years old. Okay, so we already got questions. All right. Glenda, will this only be about swim spa or will there be some on 2025 Twilight 8.2? So Glenda, I don't have a 2025 8.2 right here, but I do have a 7.2 right over there, a 25. You can ask us absolutely anything, mostly about the Master Spas product lines. Usually, some people always ask about the dots on my head and Master Spa stuff. So you can ask anything you want, and we'll always answer questions. And by the way, 8.2, probably my favorite hot tub that we've ever built. Yeah. Agree? I mean, it's the hamstring jets for me. So that is my absolute favorite. The reason we don't have an 8.2 here, we have 7.2, is because we put it in that little nook over there that you can't see right now. And an 8.2 just closes the walkway to the bathroom just a little bit more than we want. Otherwise, there would be an 8.2 sitting right there because it is my favorite. It's so awesome. So I'm assuming, Glenda, that you got one or you're getting one. And if you are, just go to excited stage because it is absolutely freaking amazing. Next, Kirk. I'd like to know if the Clarity line is being updated this year, and if so, what changes will we see? Kirk, as of right now, the Clarities are not getting any changes this year, other than on the last phase. That's actually not true. The second phase of the salt system, you will be able to upgrade Clarity to the add-on salt system. It won't be quite the same as the Twilight, but it will be available for use on the Clarities. So, and if you already had one, if you had a 24 or 2015, you could still use it on there. So anyone watching this, if you want to upgrade to the salt, you will be able to. The new system is fantastic. So, but no changes coming this year on the Clarity line. Actually, I don't even know if that's planned for 26. Do you, Mary?
I'm not sure.
Mary's over here, and what you can't see is she just had her pupils dilated. So as she was racing in from the eye doctor, I mean, literally 10 minutes ago was just finishing sliding these steps into place so we could start the live, and she's sliding in, her pupils are dilated, and she hates that. So she's just sort of, actually, I'm going to show you. Let's see Mary.
So this is now we had to flip the way that the swim spa is. So if you hadn't watched us in the past, the jetted seats were on the opposite side.
You don't look very comfortable.
I am.
I was kidding.
Oh, I actually think
you must be
seats
tired.
are more comfortable. Well, my eyes are weird.
You look like a demon, a little bit.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean a nice demon.
So one of the reasons for that, or the reason for that, is the 2025 swim spas, the trainers and the challengers all have the pumps and the electrical hookup up front where the swim jets are. And because of where our electric comes in the warehouse, we couldn't put the swim spa in the same direction, so we're a little backwards here.
And we're still sort of figuring it out.
Right, yeah.
All right. Oh, what did I do? I pressed something. Okay, sorry. And then for those of you who can't, so actually, that is a 2025 Twilight 7.2. That is a new Sweaty Goat that we just got the 7.2, the sauna, and the Challenger that we're in just came in, and these are our two Alpines, the cold tubs, and of course Dr. Cuticelli with dilated pupils.
Can you really see that?
Yeah, they look huge.
Oh, very good.
If I didn't know you better, I'd think you were on drugs. Okay, so
Not eye drugs.
eye drugs, that doesn't count. That's not what I was talking about. She's different. Okay, let's check for questions. All right. Greetings from New Hampshire, where the air might be 42, but the water is always 92. Jim,
Nice.
I love that. I love that.
It's pretty chilly here too.
It is chilly. Yeah, it's nice out today, but it's
nice,
chilly.
But I think
50, maybe. All right, Dave said, I have an 8.2 and I have 2 sets of filters. I know they suggest changing them annually, but mine are working fine. Let me.
Oh yeah, the filters. If you keep them clean, they'll last.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit the C more so I can see that it's not cooperating today, Mary. My finger's not working. Dave, when you put a comment in, it's like on my phone, it won't let me see the bottom of it. See if you can try. There we go. Get out of here. She's got the magic touch. How do I know when it's absolutely necessary to change them out? You don't have to change them out. And if you had just regular filters and no Eco Pure, but you were good taking care of the water, you'd be fine with that. The EcoPure makes it a little bit easier. A lot of the problem that people often have is they just don't quite understand that the EcoPure is what exactly it's doing at the same time as taking care of the water. So if your filters are fine and your water's fine, run them. I've run them much longer than a year.
Yeah.
So Dave, go for it. Full send. Megan, we just had our master spot delivered today. Going to get everything going tomorrow. Super excited, Megan.
That's awesome.
Megan, what did you buy? So I mean, master spots makes 50 different things. We need more information. All right. So, yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. It's freaking awesome. You know, the swim spas are so amazing. It's springtime. So if you're anywhere where it's cold, it's getting to be a little warmer. The spring is coming. You know, the pollen is already starting. The little buds on the trees are coming. This is go season. So yeah, I'm sure you're excited. We're excited for you. All right, Kirk, thanks. I have a 2024 Balance 8 and look forward to hearing about the salt system can be added when it's available. Let's see if it lets me do it on the button. There.
I'm sure they will be sending out an
Oh,
email.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my finger, oh, there it is. When it's available. Yeah, Kirk, probably a couple months, I would think, is a bit of a guess. But the first stage is done, and then the second stage kit is being put together next, and then it's just add-on. Super, super easy. All right. Paul. Yeah, did you see that, Paul? It's coming together in here. So we did a lot of work in here. Bree, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. Megan, we bought a Precision 7. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic. You cannot go wrong. And I'll tell you what. I mean, everyone always says, well, "What's your favorite tub?" And I love the Twilight. I'm sorry, it's time to eat. The Twilight 8.2. I love the hamstring jets in the lounge. Is my favorite thing on the 8.2. I will tell you the difference between when you talk Twilight versus Clarity, and you see some of these comments on the Master Spa Owners group, like, "Oh, I only got this." Only got this. The Clarity is it's a workhorse. That thing is like an F-150 that's gonna run forever. You cannot go wrong with a Clarity. They are so awesome. So I'll tell you what, the only time I use the jets very sparingly in a hot tub, and I love soaking. I would love a Clarity. I have no issue with that whatsoever. So if you're feeling like, I only got a Clarity, I didn't get a Twilight, man, they're freaking awesome. So enjoy. That thing will run forever. So have a party.
I would just like to say that with this seat up in front
It's awesome.
and the jet on low, is a great foot massage.
You look comfortable.
It's
right.
good. Like, everyone says there's no foot jets in the single temp swim spas, but with the new seats up in front, it works.
I do
pretty well.
love these seats. I actually want to show these again. We showed them last week, but let's show them again.
It's actually really good.
Yep.
And just on that one.
I never thought to put my feet in there. So this seat, you guys, you can see the footrest, the seat. It's awesome. And again, to rehash, that filter is an upgrade. It's not really any different on the filtration capabilities. What's different is the access to it. So as you guys know, I think my Challenger is a 22 in my house. I think it's a 2022. So 3 years old. It's got obviously the older filters that come in through the side. And when I take them out, they get some stuff in the water, and you got to deal with it. This solves that problem, for the most part. Let me move my big fat head.
And in a little bit, we'll get to looking at the new dial control panel as promised.
So today, what we were supposed to do, this is another thing that happened. We were supposed to go over the Wi-Fi control and the new top side of the Challenger, which is the same as the Trainer now. It's not different. So in order to change the filter settings on a Trainer or Challenger, you have to have Wi-Fi to have the unit comes, let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. It's much more complicated than it used to be. So the unit comes with Wi-Fi built in, a module, and it's already attached to the pack, and the transmitter is in there. And then you have the sister to it that goes and attaches to your router on your Wi-Fi in your home, or in this case, in this warehouse. And then the two speak, and you actually, in your phone, you have an app to control almost everything. So I haven't played with it yet because our Wi-Fi got turned on while I was in the middle of, or not turned on, but redone because we needed a new router. Our router was, you guys have watched us struggle through Wi-Fi. The router was crappy, so we have a new router, and they literally just switched it 2 hours ago while I was doing the steps. So we couldn't do the Wi-Fi connection because it wasn't done yet until literally 2 hours ago, maybe even less. So that was fun. So we had Wi-Fi going on. The sauna, we built the sauna, day before yesterday, maybe finished it up yesterday. Mary and I did that. And then, so that should, it's not terribly difficult. The problem that we have putting the saunas together with Mary and I is that each piece that she's holding weighs more than she does, or the same, which is not easy to do. So, she's like an ant. She's strong like an ant, and A-N-T, ant. So, but she's still 4'10", 100 pounds. So it doesn't make lifting up, big heavy panels and putting it together super easy. You do need 2 people to do it. She's really small.
It probably would help to have a taller person.
I almost like rudely said a normal sized person.
Thanks, Ben.
Hey, what you make up for or what you are missing in small stature is made up with your gigantic brain.
Thanks.
So that's it's working out pretty well for you. All right, questions. What do we got? Questions? Anything you got? I didn't even look. Are there questions?
We did. I had Kim sent us.
Okay.
I can go over there.
Yeah, go get it. You get up here. I'm gonna go take a break. Poor Mary. She's fine. Poor Mary. She's fine. Her eyes are really bothering her though, being done. I hated that.
Yeah.
I only had that done once. So, all right. But I hate that feeling. And then you have to wear, I of course did it in the wintertime. There was snow on the ground and no sunglasses. So that was horrible and dangerous. What do we got? You come up here.
Okay. Can the cover be used year round? Absolutely.
Come on.
The
I'm sitting down. You do it. I love these new seats.
The covers that come with the swim spa, if you get a roll cover or if you get the standard cover, they are made for year-round use. And the standard cover, the thick sunbrella material cover, will be more efficient than the roll cover, but the roll cover is still made for year-round and is made for winter. Hold on, we do have a question here. Can I use... Sorry, I'm like really squinty here.
Do you want me to go?
Can I use Spa...
I left my glasses on because I knew your eyes weren't going to be working.
Spa Boss Chlorade in my hot tub?
I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Is that
I've actually heard of that. It's not recommended to use that. It does not have a great reputation with our, like one of our heads of production said do not use that.
Oh.
So,
Who?
I wouldn't, Mike.
Mike
He
Reese.
mentioned it in the,
Mike Reese.
yeah.
If Mike said that, don't use it.
Yeah. In fact, I specifically remember him saying that. I would not recommend using Spa
So
Boss.
there's like 3 people that I call when I have 3, maybe 4 people that I call when there's something that I'm not familiar with. Mike is one of them, and he's pretty much the end-all, be-all. If he doesn't like something,
There's that and
we
the
give him-
HCH that you can buy at
HTH.
HTH.
That's like soup. I've actually had
Right.
that
He
problem
said
with
those 2 were ones that
Okay.
you should not use. Another question. I
This is
have
awesome.
an orange color on the underside of one of the colors of the swim spa. It does wipe off with a cloth. Thoughts? Go ahead. If you,
It's a. Can I read that? Where is it?
that's question on there.
I have an orange color on the underside of one of the covers of the swim spa. Does it? It does wipe off on the cover itself or on the acrylic? So
I
if
feel
it's,
like it's underneath the
it
cover.
does. It's made it sound like it was on the cover. So could be like a mold situation, and it will wipe off. So what are they like? The Lysol makes a.
But I wonder
cleaner.
where it is
Yeah.
because if it's like above the
Right.
metal like waterfall or the
It could be rust.
It could be rust too.
And if it's rust, it's not really an issue. Eventually you're going to get some mold on the underneath of the cover, and that just needs to be cleaned. That's not going away. But if it's rust, then it could be that you're chlorinating and closing the cover too soon. Yes, underside the cover. So
Right.
so I would just wipe it off. If it's on the edge of the cover that hits the top of the acrylic, just make sure it's not rust or you see nothing on the inside of the acrylic, because that would indicate that you're not off-gassing after chlorinating quite long enough. Okay? But sounds like it's on the cover, so if it's just that, wipe it off. And then they make some Lysol, make some cleaner for that, for mold. Okay? Sorry, Mary.
That's okay. So we have some more questions.
I left my glasses on.
Yeah, we have some more questions on the roll-up cover, but does Master Spas have any swim spa cover lifters that have the cover drop down low on the sides and not obstruct the view? So anytime you bring the cover down as any low, very low, you have to lift it back up, which puts a lot of pressure on the cover lifting system and also on you as a lifter. So the cover lifters that go very low aren't super recommended. Master Spas does make one that is a little bit lower than the CoverMate one, but it still holds up on top of it's still going to show up above the shell.
What do you think, like this much-ish?
Maybe a little bit more than that. Yeah, probably like that at least.
Yeah.
But anytime, especially
much
with the
less.
swim spas, if you bring it too low, you have to get out of the swim spa. You have to lift it up back on because the bar just can't handle that. So a couple
Scrubber
more.
smells great.
It does. A couple more questions about the roll cover. Does it roll from either end or one way only? The roll cover can roll either way. It can be completely removed. It is very heavy, especially on the larger swim spa roll covers. They are extremely heavy. Don't let anyone tell you they aren't. We have rolled and taken off many for pictures and such, and they're challenging to roll
On
off.
the larger swim spas, it's like rolling up a carpet with a body.
Yeah. They're very heavy, but they can be taken off. Any special cleaning requirements? There is a 303 protectant. It just depends on which material you have. If it's the fabric material, it's an outdoor fabric. I feel super self-conscious about my eyes being weird, so I apologize. Does the cover need to be installed by you? If so, what is the cost of delivery? That would be a question to your dealer. So you'd want to call your local dealer to ask about cover cost. I have no idea. And I'm sure it could be either. I'm sure they could ship it to you or they could deliver it. Again, just keep in mind it's really heavy. And last but not least, how energy efficient is this product? So like I said, the standard cover is going to be the most efficient. The roll cover is still efficient and made for year round. It just won't be as efficient as the thicker standard foam cover. Okay, let me just see. We've got a couple questions on here.
I love this seat. It's awesome.
We got our swim spa in June. Our dials are fading in color. Why? Is there anything we do to restore the color? So, you can use.
So diverters. So hang on a second. So if you're fading already, there's a couple of things that could be causing it. So typically where you get that is going to be in between the top of the water
Yep.
and underneath the cover. So in that air gap, right? So on that air gap, if you're getting that stuff in there, low pH will cause that drastically, as well as chlorinating issues or not off-gassing. So lots of things can cause that. So you probably have a little situation with chemicals that needs to be addressed as well. All that stuff can be replaced if it gets old and gets faded. So you could, kind of give it a facelift and get that stuff. But when it's usually a chemical problem that cause those to fade at a rapid rate.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not throwing stones, just saying, hey.
Another thing
keep
too
an eye on
is
the pH.
I feel like you just said this, but if you are putting chlorine in and then
Trying to
Okay,
reconnect.
we're back.
We just put the Wi-Fi in.
if so that can kind of trap chemicals in between the cover and the shell, and that could cause some of that fading as well. For the roll cover, it depends in terms of visibility. If you roll that cover up all the way, it's still going to be 3.5 feet in the air. So it
maybe not that much.
I don't know,
It's not.
3 feet.
3 feet is this.
Yeah.
So
I guess it depends on
2
how
feet.
large the cover
Yeah.
is. And it has to go somewhere unless you take it off completely. If you take it off completely, obviously that is going to avoid any view obstruction. But if you have a shelf or something, or you just put it on the end of the swim spa, it's still going to obstruct the view, if that makes sense. Kirk, is it possible to add the dream lighting to the skirting of a Clarity, or does it have to be built with it? It has to be built with it. That is an option currently on the Clarities, but would have to be ordered before it's built. It can't be done once you have it delivered.
It's going to go away.
It is only available for a short amount of time.
You want to explain why?
Basically, it's because they had leftover systems from when it was available on the Twilights and the LSXs. And so once that is out of stock, they're not reordering anymore. So they can be added to the Clarity, because now the new Twilights and LSXs have lighting installed already in the cabinet. So it'll be available temporarily for the Clarity until they run out. Okay, next question is from Elizabeth in Florida. How can I reattach the spa jet nozzles? After I drained and cleaned the spa, then refilled it and turned it on, the jet nozzles popped off and I cannot get them back on. I think maybe they're just not locked in place correctly. I'm not sure what you mean, Elizabeth, if you can clarify a little bit more. Because the jets, they have to lock into place for them to be adjustable. So either they're locked into place and they're turned all the way down and you just need to turn them back on, or they're not. Yeah, you can watch Ben lock it into place.
All right, I'll show you. And it's possible that it could be broken. I don't know, but so this is just the same jet. So you twist it, hear the pop, and it comes out. So if that happened, if you were basically turning it on and off, you could overturn it and then it would drop out. So when you put it in, there's a little track, and if you watch closely, hear that? And then I push in. Nope, I didn't get it. Right there, that's it. So see how it popped in? Then you push it in, almost like a child, and then now it's
Yeah,
in.
it's like a
Like
pill bottle.
Yeah, like a child safety lock pill bottle. All right.
Next question is from Jackie. They have a 9x8 master spas. It's in the Keys, and they like to keep it cooler. I'm just summarizing here because it's a long one. We keep the thermostat at 85 in the winter, but the spa stays about 90 to 100. So the best way to prevent that from happening is to keep the cover open a little bit at night to release some of that heat. You cannot turn off the heat completely. You can turn it all the way down, like you said, to 80, and then because it still needs to circulate. So you would just keep the cover open a little bit, either by rolling up a towel or sticking a pool noodle in between the cover and the shell, so it allows some heat to escape, and that seems to help most people.
I would like to add that we are going to Key West for vacation this summer, and extremely excited.
Nice. Okay, we have lots of questions here. So next question is from Larry in Colorado. There's a few questions here. I seem to have a recurring foaming problem. Okay, that is probably more likely detergents in your bathing suit or lotions that you might be using. Foam out is not going to take care of that. I would recommend having a bathing suit that you only use for the hot tub or the swim spa and just not washing it. There is a Lysol detergent that has no soap in it that we've had customers recommend using, but I just kind of have bathing suits here that I just use for the swim spa. Don't ever, wash it with detergent. But foam out really isn't going to do anything. It's just going to remove foam like the one time that you use it. It doesn't solve the problem.
And if it's happening over and over, someone is probably bringing that into this
Right.
spa.
Then you may just need to drain, refill, wash your filters out. Jill, how about washing with vinegar? Yeah, you could. If you mean your bathing suit, you can.
Sure.
You could do that. Yeah. Question number 2: the decal in my filter area is faded, and I can barely see the water fill line. Legacy Whirlpool. You just want to make sure that your filters are covered. So,
And on most of the products that we make, it's usually at the top light or a little
right.
above.
Yep. So I
depending on
believe
which
that
lights you have.
has lights. If it's the light line, the highest light, unless you have a clarity, which is on the shell. But in the clarity, it's underneath the neck and shoulder jets.
And also in the filter opening, you know, it might be 2 inches from the top of the filter opening.
Right.
So just go to that spot.
Yeah. Question 3: I can't figure out how to remove pillows to clean so they are looking dry and faded. They are you just pull them off. They're like they're
like
pop
snap
off.
in, yeah.
Yep. You don't need to twist, but you can pull. You won't break the tabs. It's meant to be pulled off. Okay, next question is from Roxana in Nevada. What is the process to start up our new Trainer 12 swim spa and fill with water and which chemicals? How do we use the electronic screen? So when you get your swim spa, there should be very explicit instructions on startup. And if it's not on a separate piece of paper, it is in the owner's manual. And that will give you very specific instructions on what you need to do to start up.
I'd like to add a little more of that.
Yep.
So-
And we will get to the electronic screen for the new 2025s. We no longer have the screen for the earlier 2024s or the Trainer 12. So that would be something that you need to check either on your owner's manual, or you can also check on the Master Spa's YouTube channel. There are some videos on that.
So when it comes to the startup, people freak out about it, and there's no reason to. Really, all you're going to do is, so I recommend electrician comes and connects first, and then you fill with water. You can start filling when the electrician's there, as long as he thinks he's going to have no problem. Everything's fine. I don't recommend filling before the electrician, because what if they don't show up, and then you have stagnant water sitting there? So it never pays. The electrician can test for voltage. They know it's right. They can, hit the breaker for 1 second. It's not going to hurt anything, and test it. It doesn't have to be filled for them to fire it up. But they're not firing it up without the water, to be clear. But they could certainly test it. So then you're going to put the water in, and then you're going to run half a bottle of Metal Magic, a sequestering agent. Clean the filter for 2 days. Wait till it gets up to temperature. Then check your alkalinity, pH, and hit a little bit of chlorine in there, and that's it. It's difficult to really make a bad mistake, but all right.
Jeannie's asking how far the clips go down.
I never measured.
Yeah, an inch, 2 inches.
No.
No, you think it's more than that?
Yeah. I mean, look on the 4
Top?
inches. Like look on the 7.2.
Yeah.
It's got to be at least like 4 inches
Underneath the cover.
the lip of the cover.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say about 4 inches. Looking at the 7.2 from here, because they're the same.
Okay, next question is from Eva in Florida. We're having trouble keeping our total chlorine and free chlorine levels normal, having to add chlorine every other day, and that's with us not using it. It sets under a cover, but does get a lot of afternoon sun. So having to add chlorine a few times a week, 4 or 5 times a week is pretty normal, unless you're doing adding the shock almost every day and then chlorine once a week. So that is not unusual.
Yeah.
So that
it's smaller amounts
right,
more frequently.
right. You would need smaller amounts more frequently, unless you put you might need a little bit more chlorine. But that's not crazy to have to add it a few times a week, even if you're not using it.
I saw Kathy popped on there. Kathy, Ron stopped by and helped me with these steps. Oh my God. Thank God. It only took an hour and a half with both of us. 3 hours or whatever. It was a long freaking time.
Karen from New York, owners for 6 months. We love it. Need guidance on water change, how to do it, chemicals needed. So basically your water change is going to be the same exact as when you filled it the first time. So go back to those instructions on the first fill, depending on if you're using a hose or having a swim spa company fill it, but you're gonna wanna pump the water out, refill it, and then follow the same startup instructions that you had initially. Last question. Yeah, is from Kenneth in Colorado. We had a lightning strike hit the ground near a hot tub. It appears the circuit board was blown out by the electrical surge. How expensive is to replace the circuit board? We have no idea.
So, actually, I have something to say. So
Okay.
What I would do is, I have seen that before where it gets the board, and I would tell you that you probably have a $500 deductible on that insurance claim, because that would be an insurance claim, I think most of the time, but I'm not sure it's really worth it, because if you're over 500, it's not going to be very much, I don't think, for just a circuit board. It depends if you're doing the swap out or if you're having a dealer come. So if you really want it, I guess I would ask your insurance company if that's covered, or ensure that it is, probably is, and then have the dealer come out and have them take care of everything and give you a breakdown and have the insurance take care of it. If you don't want to make a claim and you're handy, you could buy the parts and install it yourself, and then it's not terribly expensive at all.
But just if you call, and you would just need to call your dealer for help with that as well. Okay, so we are lots of questions, so we're almost done here. But we did want to take you over to look at the new control panel, which is the dial control panel.
Did you take the wrong phone?
No, I wanted to put my phone over.
I love these seats. They're awesome.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring you over here to the dial-up control. Cancel.